You're watching the Weiss channel. Today I'm going to introduce you to sine, cosine, and tan and do an application of it. Okay. So first of all, I need you to recall in a right triangle, the two legs are A and B, and the hypotenuse is always C. Okay. And A squared plus B squared equals C squared. That's called the Pythagorean theorem, named after Professor John Theorem. Ha ha ha. For example, if I wanted to find C, I would take 5 squared plus 12 squared equals C squared. I would do 25 plus 144, and I would get 169 equals C squared. But I want C, so I got to take the square root of both sides and get 13. If here I want to find B, I would say 9 squared plus B squared equals 41 squared. So I'd say 81 plus B squared equals 1681. Minus 81 to both sides. And I get B squared equals 1600. Take the square root. B equals 40. Okay? So, in a right triangle, if I'm looking at angle A, right there, this side is considered opposite angle A. This side is adjacent to angle A, and this, of course, is the hypotenuse. I always feel like the right angle points to the hypotenuse. Okay? If I'm talking about angle B, then this is the opposite, this is the adjacent, and that's the hypotenuse. So in a right triangle, I mean, technically, this would be adjacent to angle B, but it's the hypotenuse. So we call the hypotenuse, and the other one is the adjacent. So again, here's the hypotenuse. That means this is the adjacent. The two lines that make up an angle that's not the right angle, one will be the hypotenuse, the other will be the adjacent. Okay? So here, in this triangle here, what's opposite A? Opposite A would be 3. What's opposite B? Opposite B is going to be 4. What's adjacent to A? Adjacent to A will be 4. What's adjacent to B? Adjacent to B will be 3. Okay? So now we get to the concept of SOHCAHTOA. My wonderful Uncle Al told me that his geometry teacher said, let's saddle our horses, canter away happily to other adventures. God rest his soul. I miss you, Uncle Al, but we just use SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA is the way to remember sine, cosine, and tan. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Sine, sine, S is O over H, opposite over hypotenuse. So sine of A is going to be opposite over hypotenuse, or 3 over 5. Okay. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. C equals A over H. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Cosine of A, adjacent over hypotenuse, will be 4 over 5. Tan is opposite over adjacent. TOA, T equals O over A. Tan is opposite over adjacent. Tan of A would be 3 over 4. Okay, so sine of A is 3 over 5. Cosine of A is 4 over 5. Tan of A is 3 over 4. So what's sine of B? Sine of B is 4 over 5, opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine of B is adjacent over hypotenuse, 3 over 5. Tan of B is 4 over 3, opposite over adjacent. Now, Find each value. What's the sine of A? Opposite is 7, hypotenuse is 25. So your answer will be 7 over 25. Now, in a number of your problems here, you will not be given the green number. You will not be given one of the three numbers. So it's saying, what's cosine of A? So you have to figure out what this length is here, okay? So now you have to do 7 squared plus b squared equals 25 squared in order to figure out that this is 24. However, I gave you a cheat sheet, which I asked you to take a picture of. If you did not get this cheat sheet, please hit pause and get a screenshot of this chart right here, okay? Because it's giving you all of the Pythagorean triples that you will need. So if you have 7 and 25, what I want you to do is look for 7 and 25. Oops. Do you see 7 and 25 here? Here's 7, here's 25. Up, 24 is the third one. Okay, so you will put in 24 here. So what's cosine of A? Adjacent over hypotenuse, 24 over 25. So here, 5 blank and 13. Go back to the chart here. 5 blank and 13. You see here, 5. 12 is your second number. Okay, so you're going to put in 12. What's tan of A? Okay, opposite over adjacent, 5 over 12. What's sine of B? Here's B. Opposite over hypotenuse is 4 over 5. What's cosine of B? Here's B. Adjacent over hypotenuse, 8 over 17. What's tan of B? Opposite over adjacent, or 35 over 12. You may need to reduce. If you're able to reduce and you're dealt a math assignment, then you have to reduce. You've been watching the Weiss channel.